Lightning cracked the sky the morning they tore into my land. I stood at my kitchen window, gripping a mug of cold coffee, watching in horror as bulldozers churned my orchard into a muddy grave. Peach trees I nurtured for a decade toppled under steel tracks, their roots exposed like broken promises. A crane loomed over my barn, swinging beams like a guillotine, while a construction crew blasted pop music as if they were building a carnival instead of gutting my home. I didn't know it then, but that moment the roar of machinery and the sting of betrayal would ignite a fight I'd wage with everything I had. I'm Daniel Harper, a retired firefighter who swapped sirens for solitude in Willow Creek, a suburban pocket where the worst crime was an untrimmed hedge. 10 years ago, I bought this 4-acre plot for its quiet hills and the chance to build something lasting. I'd poured my soul into it, pruning trees, mending fences, clearing brush until my hands were calloused. It was my refuge, proof I could create after years of battling flames. But now, staring at the wreckage outside, I realized peace was a PRIVY leg you had to defend. The chaos had a name. The Willow Creek Homeowners Association, led by Evelyn Marsh, a woman who wielded her straw hat and clipboard like a scepter. Evelyn's smile could charm or cut, depending on her mood, and she'd ruled the neighborhood with passive-aggressive newsletters and petty fines. We'd tangled before over my unauthorized blue mailbox, my overgrown wildflowers, but this was war. They were building a pool on my land. I yanked on my boots, mud sucking at the soles as I stormed outside. The air reeked of diesel and torn earth. A foreman, squinting at blueprints, barely glanced up. HOA land, buddy. Common area. Common area? I said, voice tight. This is my property. I've got the deed, surveys, tax records. He shrugged. Talk to the boss lady. There she was, Evelyn, perched on a lawn chair like a queen, sipping iced tea and directing workers to place a cabana. She waved at me, all sunshine. Morning, Daniel. Stay back, safety first. My blood boiled. I marched over, ignoring the mud. Evelyn, what the hell are you doing building a pool on my land? She tilted her head, smile unwavering. Don't be dramatic. This is community green space. Always has been. I blinked, stunned. I've paid taxes on this land for 10 years. I've got boundary markers, surveys, everything. Her smile flickered. If that's true, we'll sort it with the board. For now, don't interfere. You're delaying progress. Progress. The word burned. I looked at the devastation bulldozers flattening my garden, tire tracks crushing my roses, a concrete mixer roaring where my cherry tree stood. This wasn't a mistake. It was a land grab in flip-flops. I stormed back inside, mud trailing like a scar. In my office, I pulled out my property records, deed plat maps, tax receipts. The HOA's boundary stopped 20 feet short of their pool. They'd built a resort in my backyard and called it community. I called the county. No permits existed for a pool this size, not from the HOA, not from Evelyn. The HOA hotline looped to voicemail. So I grabbed my phone and filmed broken fences, tire tracks, trucks unloading tiles in my driveway. I caught Evelyn striding through the chaos, inspecting rebar like she owned the world. On camera, I asked if she had proof the HOA owned the land. She laughed. Daniel, sweetheart, the HOA owns everything you see. You just lease your corner. That clip would bury her later, but I wasn't thinking VY Ral then. I was thinking Sir VY Val. That night, Evelyn knocked on my door with 2 board members, Carl, who'd fine me for a non-compliant shed, and Janet, who treated violations like felonies. Evelyn handed me an envelope, smiling. A peace offering. Inside was a due law 500 check and a statement absol VY in the HOA of liability. I nearly laughed. You think due law 500 fixes a crane on my orchard? Her smile tightened. Don't escalate, Daniel. Courts hate land disputes. Be a team player. Her smugness lit a fuse. I shut the door and called my brother-in-law, Tom Carver, a real estate attorney who'd made developers beg for mercy. I told him everything. His voice was steel. Send me photos, documents, that VY Deo. Get ready to own that pool. I didn't sleep. I stood at the pool's edge, its concrete skeleton glowing under work lights. They think I'm a pushover, I whispered. Let's see them swim in a lawsuit. By dawn, I'd sent Tom 25 photos, fence lines, GPS tag boundary markers, drone shots of the pool cutting through my orchard. I included Evelyn's VY Deo in my deed. Tom replied, "Jackpot." I trusted him. Tom had once won a DULA $300,000 settlement over a 5-foot easement. That morning, as Evelyn's crew debated pool tiles, I flew my drone again, mapping the 60-foot pool, deck, and plumbing trenches snaking under my barn. Then I noticed something. The cinder blocks and filtration gear bore the logo of Crest VY EW Construction, a company owned by Evelyn's cousin. HOA records showed Crest VY EW had pocketed DULA $400,000 in 2 years. I called Tom. "This isn't just trespassing," he said. "It's fraud and conflict of interest. You've got $1 million case." I became an EVY Denke machine, printing deeds, surveys, drone photos, and HOA notices. The county confirmed no permits existed for the pool. By week's end, Tom arrived, his battered truck out of place among the construction chaos. He walked the land, measuring boundaries with a laser scope. "They're 12 feet into your property," he said. "The plumbing's under your barn. That's structural trespass." Over coffee, Tom outlined the plan. Sue for land value, property damage, emotional distress, legal fees, and punitive damages if we proved intent. "If Evelyn knew she was on your land," he said, "we could hit DULA $2 million. I remembered an HOA newsletter where Evelyn hyped a community aquatic center. The sketch showed the pool crossing my property line. Tom grinned. "That's intent." We drafted a legal brief, a 40-page beast of EVY Denke. Tom filed a notice to sue and set a county zoning board meeting. "We're going public," he said. Full exposure. The meeting was electric. I wore my firefighter's jacket, a reminder of battles fought. Tom carried a binder and flash drive, calm but lethal. Evelyn sat in a pink blazer, whispering to her board, her smile strained. She opened with a presentation about community benefits, but Tom stole the stage. He projected drone footage, surveys, and the newsletter sketch, Pro VY-ing the encroachment. He played Evelyn's "HOA owns everything" VY Deo and showed Crest VY EW invoices tied to her cousin. Then he dropped a leaked email from Evelyn, urging the board to proceed despite boundary issues because Harper won't fight. A county official stared at Evelyn. "Did you authorize construction on private land without permits?" She stammered. Tom handed out her binder. The board adjourned, promising an investigation. Outside, Evelyn chased us. "We can settle, Daniel." I smiled. "We're in court. Catch up." That night, the pool site was silent, tarps flapping. It felt like leverage. The HOA had built their dream on my land, and I'd make it their reckoning. Workers stopped coming, spooked by the investigation. Evelyn spun lies, claiming I'd donated the land at a picnic I never attended. Then the HOA played dirty. My mailbox was smashed. Trash appeared on my porch. Citations piled up me fence was too rustic. My barn unpermitted. I installed cameras, catching a hooded figure dumping debris. The sheriff couldn't pin it on Evelyn, but I knew. Tom said, "Let them bury themselves." It worked. One night, a crew poured concrete after hours. A worker said, "Evelyn told us you approved." I called Tom. Impersonation. Another charge. The break came from Lisa, a board member tired of Evelyn's bullying. She recorded an HOA meeting where Evelyn pushed to reclassify my land as community space, saying, "It's easier to apologize than stop." Harper won't sue. I posted the audio online with a timeline of violations. The neighborhood Facebook group erupted 200 comments, 40 shares, residents demanding Evelyn's head. Evelyn showed up at my gate, screaming, "Take it down." I pointed to my camera and recorded. She fled, muttering threats. That VY Deo went VY Ral. We filed a DULA $2 million lawsuit trespassing, damage, fraud, defamation. At the hearing, I wore my firefighter's jacket. Tom unpacked our EVY Denke, maps, footage, invoices, the email, the audio. Evelyn's lawyer claimed boundary confusion, but Tom's presentation was a masterclass. When he played Evelyn's "Apologize Later" clip, her lawyer flinched. On the stand, I spoke of the Lamy refuge after firefighting, now a construction site. I described the lies, the harassment. If this can happen to me, I said, it can happen to anyone who doesn't bow to a clipboard. The judge ruled fast. Do law 2 million, demolition within 60 days, an HOA audit. Evelyn was barred from leadership. She sat frozen, her empire dust. Outside, neighbors clapped. I didn't linger. That night, I stood where my orchard was, the pool silent. It wasn't just a win, it was mine again. Demolition started 2 weeks later. The cabana fell first, beams splintering. Neighbors watched, some with cameras. Evelyn resigned after a fiery HOA meeting where her word son tape-damned her. The audit uncovered Dula, $500,000 in misspent funds, tied to her cousin. I didn't gloat. I scattered wildflower seeds where the pool had been, a promise to the earth. Neighbors VY cited, bringing tools, plants, apologies. Lisa, now HOA president, rewrote the bylaws for transparency. I stayed, not out of spite, but because this was home. With the settlement, I turned my barn into a workshop for veterans and kids, a place of creation where Evelyn's pool brought only ruin. One spring morning, as wildflowers bloomed and sawdust drifted, I hung a sign, private property, respect earned. They tried to erase me, but I'd rewritten the story. Evelyn's pool never held water. My land held a legacy. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.